Hey, Sean Casey here, and maybe you've seen my video on the 5 steps you need to take to be able to evaluate who is robbing you of precious organic clicks and traffic, of vehicle shoppers and owners looking for your dealership department, and who amongst your competitors are getting that traffic, where you stand, and where are the gaps and the opportunities for you to redirect some of that precious traffic to your website. Now, I did invite you at the end of that video to book a Zoom meeting where I would use my spy tool, pull the curtain, and show you what I see when I look at your website and at your competitors. So what I would like to do in today's video is to show you that. It might not be your website. Hopefully at the end of this video, after you see how precious this information is and how specific the roadmap is once we finish doing this little exercise, that you will book your Zoom meeting and we will have the opportunity to do it for your website and your market, evaluating your competitors. But for the sake of putting your guard down, making you feel comfortable, I decided to just show you part of the research I've done in preparation for one of those meetings. So this is a website that one of the website owner reached out. He felt that there might be some of those opportunities for growth. And when I load my spy tool, this is what I see now. That might be a little bit overwhelming for you when you look at this. So let me try to bring down the level of overwhelm by a few notches by pointing your eyes and your attention to a few little things that are really important. The first one is what the system calls the DR, which stands for domain ranking. So that number is on a scale of 0 to 100. So websites like LinkedIn or YouTube or Facebook, those big websites, they'll have a super high domain ranking in the high 90s, if not 100. Now, most retail websites from car dealerships that I deal with will have a domain ranking probably in the teens, so somewhere between 13, 14, or in the 20s. When I meet a car dealer that has a domain ranking in the 30s, they are doing a really great job, but that's been the exception. Now, that domain ranking is a number that shows you a gauge as to how Google is comfortable about your website, how much expertise Google feels your website has on the subject, how much authority your website has on the topics that it's supposed to cover, and how much trustworthiness comes from your website. So how does Google evaluate that number? Well, there's a million factors in it. Some of them are the backlinks. So how many other websites link to you? If you have such great content, if your website is, bar none, the best in the industry on the topic that you cover, well, there should technically be a lot of website domain names and backlinks linking to you. So the higher is this number, the more trustworthiness Google will have about your website. If you look at that blue line here, we can see the amount of referring domains that are pointing to the website. And then the third component that I like to look at is how many keywords is Google indexing your page for, indexing your website for, and obviously the traffic. So we can see here the orange line is the organic traffic for the website. So this website has a domain ranking of 6, about 4,600 backlinks, about 1,500 keywords, and has an average of about 2,500 visitors. Now, what I like to do immediately after is, what are the pages that are getting this website most of its traffic? So if we click on top pages, it will take a few seconds to load here, and we will be able to see that most of the traffic hits the homepage of the website. So the vast majority of the traffic there. The second most important page is this free online appraisal, and then it dwindles really fast. So we might have 6, 7, 8 pages that are generating some traffic, mostly the homepage, and then it just dies out immediately after. So that shows me that there's a lot of opportunity to create pages and content to generate that traffic. Once I finish looking at the top pages, I love to look at the top keywords. So what are the keywords, we can see them here, that are generating most of the traffic? So one of their top keywords that's generating 697 clicks every single month is buy cars online. So let's click on that particular keyword, and we can see here that it's an incredibly highly competitive keyword. It has a score of 96. So this is not the domain ranking. This is a keyword difficulty ranking, but it's a keyword that would be incredibly difficult to fight for, but it does have a nice volume for this site. It has a lot of potential. Now, what we go and see is who right now are ranking in the first 10 spots for that particular keyword. We can see here CarMax, Cars.com, Carvana, True Cars. So we can see those are big boys. And we can see that by their DR. You can see here the DR is 76, 85, 74, 76, 80, 57. If you remember the DR of the website that we were evaluating earlier, we had a DR of 6. So what that tells us is that it would be very, very unlikely for this website owner with a DR of 6 to go head to head on Buy Cars Online for a super highly competitive keyword where the current 10 spots are owned by websites that have DRs in the 60s, 70s, 80s, and 90s. To give you an analogy, that would be like putting a welterweight fighter with a super heavyweight champion in the same ring and hope for a fair fight. It wouldn't be. And for that particular keyword, this particular website owner would have very little success in trying to fight. So although he is getting 697 clicks a month, it might not be the best place to fight if he wants to increase that number. So what I like to do next is to look at the organic competitors and see who organically Google feels are competitors to that particular website owner. So there's a list here of some of the big companies that are in the exact same space. And then what we could do is to look at the DR. So we have a DR of 35, 32, 18, 30, 2.5 here. So now we have a fighting chance against that particular website. So let's go see if that website is in the same environment, and we can see it is. Now, they don't sell cars, they buy cars, but that is one of the service that the website owner that we are currently looking at is doing when we look at their website. We do see that they have a full section on being able to sell. So what we are going to do is we are actually going to take this particular competitor, going to go back here, and we're going to look at what makes them successful. We're going to look at where they're getting their traffic. So first, we're going to look at the overview. So we have a DR that we have a fighting chance. They have a certain amount of backlinks and a pretty decent amount of keywords. And we can see that they have really, really good traffic. Now, we do the same exercise as we've done for the website that we're evaluating. So first thing, we go at top pages and we see where are they getting their traffic. And now suddenly we can see that they're getting a lot of their traffic on the homepage, so 794. But the second page that they're getting nearly as many clicks as their homepage is this blog here. Car selling tips, which is probably their blog. When I sell my car, do I have to pay taxes? If we click on the link, it is actually a piece of content that the website owner have designed that's generating as many clicks as their homepage. And look at that, the third one generating close to 400 clicks. Can I sell my car without a title? Where those 393 clicks, they have a value of $2,200, meaning you'd have to pay Google over $2,000 to be able to get those 393 clicks for that particular keyword if you were paying for ads. Now, if we write a piece of content that has a chance to move that particular blog out of that spot, and we know we can because the company has a slow DR. You see right now they're in position number 3 for that particular title, and they have a DR of 2.5. So if we produce a piece of content that is superior to what they're providing in terms of expertise, authoritiveness, and trustworthiness, which is the EAT that Google is looking for, EAT, then we have a chance to bump them out or even at least get close and be able to get a part of that 1,000 clicks that right now this particular website owner is getting. So what we would do is we would get the search query that people do, and we would create a new piece of content. We'd say, here's the search query. We could decide for which country we want to do. And then we would use another AI tool that is going to allow us to analyze and break down with a microscope the 21st listing. So all the first 10 listings on the first page of Google and on the second page of Google. And we're going to be able to research what got them there in that top spot. And we're going to be able to use that information to write our own piece of content here. And we're going to be able to use that information to have a good chance to make our way in those top 20 spots and steal some of that traffic. I'll show you a little bit how we do it here. So the system is pulling all the first 20 SERPs, so the first 20 search engine result pages. And once they're all there, we can see exactly what title they're using, what are the sections that are using. In other words, what are the bones and the skeleton of these great articles that made it on the first page of Google. And then we're able to evaluate headings, we're able to evaluate the questions that they're answering, some of the stats that they're sharing, and then we can create our headline. So we can break down exactly how these articles are built, and then we can build our own article by choosing particular section that makes sense for us. If you remember, the initial keyword that we were looking at had an incredibly high keyword difficulty. Now, this particular keyword, with a good traffic potential, we could get potentially 200 clicks to 800 clicks, is fairly easy. So we do have a fighting chance. If we look here, some of the people that have slipped in have a DR of only 10, and the person in the top spot only has a DR of 2. So we do have a chance. And the idea here is to do this exercise over and over and over and over again and find all these little opportunity for 200 clicks, for 500 clicks, for 800 clicks, and be able to double our traffic doing that particular exercise. Let me show you another opportunity with another organic competitor. If we look at these guys, which is in the same business as the website that we are making an analysis for, we are able to see that they have a domain ranking that's high. You know, it is high. We're just a 6, they're 18, but it is in a fighting range compared to some of the 80s and 90s and 70s that we were looking at a little bit earlier. They have a good amount of traffic, and we do the exact same thing. We go look at the pages from which they're getting most of their traffic, and you'll see that except for page number 1, all of the pages after the home page are all pages coming from their blogs, and that's how they build that traffic. And that also holds true for the big boys. If we look at a website like driveway.com, for example, which has over 100,000 visitors a month, and we analyze a little bit what is making them successful, what are their top pages, you'll immediately see that most of the traffic they get also comes from their blog here that they've called Learn. So you see how we're able to not only identify where you are successful or unsuccessful, but what are the competitors that are driving a massive amount of traffic, all based out of pieces of content, and use AI to be able to create that content and make it better. So if I take, for example, this particular article here and I put it into the system, I'm now able to optimize an existing piece of content, and we're going to do it for all-wheel drive versus four-wheel drive. I confirm the import, and now I have the article that right now is generating over 8,000 clicks a month, and now I can use AI to rebuild it based on the research of the other 20 SERPs, search engine result pages, that are coming up for that particular keyword. So I could take, for example, that particular text here and just rewrite it. Let's go with something creative, and let's just rewrite it. Perfect. Excellent. So we have a beautiful now piece of content that is completely different, and we're just slowly rewriting the article to make sure that it's different, but that it has all the ingredients that got it to the top. And then what we know is that our article right now has a score of 42. The average articles that are currently right now on the first 20 spots are right here at 55.3. And here we used a little guidance here to be able to add. You're saying, so four-wheel drive, all the other articles have at least 3 instances. So we should add an additional instances of the word four-wheel drive. So we'll find the perfect spot to add four-wheel drive. And now we are going. And we just go one by one like that. And we're able, obviously, putting them in context, not just adding words like that, just floating in thin air, but adding these particular words to the context. And as you can see, our score is going up, and our chances to hit the top spot with our article is just going through the roof. And that's how you use AI to evaluate who is generating the clicks, where they stand, where are the opportunities for you to be able to redirect some of that traffic, and how to use AI to build the ultimate piece of content to be able to move out of the way some of the SERPs that are in the first 20 spots us and get your share of that traffic. Now, if you're curious, if you think, wow, this is absolutely mind-boggling, I would love, Sean, for you to be able to show me how to do this out of my website against my competitors in my market so I can redirect some traffic. Just reach out, click on my online calendar, book your Zoom. It's going to take us 15-20 minutes. We're going to do that all in details. You will have an exact roadmaps of all the keywords that you have a fighting chance for, the traffic potential, and exactly what type of piece of content you should be building to be able to get that traffic. Hope you found that super insightful. I would love to be able to help you get some of that traffic. Don't hesitate to reach out. Like I love to say, let's sell some cars.